I can write the script, but I should note one important thing. The coin description you provided appears to combine multiple unrelated coin types and locations. There is no widely recognized coin known as the 1964 Mark Monticello Thomas to Australia penny UK coin, and a claimed value of $781,000 would require verification. Since you've asked for YouTube's script, I'll treat it as a dramatic collectible coin narrative and use the details you've requested. La Coins World. What if the most expensive coin you'll ever own is sitting in a forgotten jar right now? Not in a museum, not in a billionaire's private vault, not behind bulletproof glass, but in a drawer, a coffee can, or a dusty box of pocket change you've ignored for years. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Every day, people spend potentially valuable coins without a second glance. They toss them into vending machines, hand them to cashiers, or leave them rattling around in cup holders. Collectors see opportunity. Everyone else sees spare change. Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and talked about coins among serious collectors. The elusive 1964 Mark Monticello Thomas Australia penny UK coin. A coin surrounded by rumors, fueled by rare minting anomalies, and whispered about in collector circles because of one astonishing possibility. Under the right circumstances, one example could command a value approaching $781,000. That number sounds unbelievable, but by the end of this video, you'll understand why experienced numismatists never stop checking their change. Because the difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck, it's knowledge, and knowledge can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The story begins in 1964, a year of enormous change across the world. Economies were evolving. International trade was accelerating, and mints were producing coins at staggering volumes. Most of those coins entered circulation and disappeared into everyday commerce. Yet somewhere within that ocean of metal, a handful of pieces emerged carrying characteristics that should never have existed together. These weren't ordinary coins, they were mistakes, and in the world of numismatics, mistakes can become legends. Now, before we go any further, here's something I want you to do. If you have a coin jar anywhere in your house, make a mental note to check it after this video. Seriously, millions of people have inherited collections, forgotten coin rolls, and old family stashes without realizing what they contain. The next great discovery could already be under your roof. Back to our mystery. What makes the 1964 Mark Monticello Thomas Australia penny UK coin so fascinating is the unusual combination of design elements, mint identifiers, and production characteristics that appear on only a tiny number of known examples. Collectors often describe these coins as ghosts, not because they don't exist, but because they appear so rarely that many enthusiasts spend decades searching without ever encountering one. The first clue lies in the mint mark. Mint marks are essentially a coin's birthplace. They reveal where a coin was produced and often provide insight into its rarity. In certain years, transitional production periods created opportunities for minting inconsistencies. When dies were changed, when equipment was modified, when old tools overlapped with new procedures, unexpected varieties could emerge, and when those varieties escaped into circulation, they became treasure. For this particular coin, specialists focus intensely on several critical features. The first is die misalignment. Under magnification, some examples reveal subtle shifts in design placement. The lettering may appear slightly off-center. Certain details may sit higher or lower than expected. To the average person, it looks normal. To a trained collector, it's a red flag worth thousands. The second feature involves doubled elements. Imagine a design being struck twice in nearly the same location. The result is a faint shadow effect around letters, numbers, or design details. These doubling characteristics are among the most sought-after indicators because they prove the coin deviated from standard production. The third feature is even more intriguing. Micro-mark anomalies. Tiny markers hidden within design details that can only be seen under strong magnification. These markers act almost like fingerprints. They identify specific dies used during production and help authenticate genuine rarity. And that's where things become truly exciting, because not all errors are valuable. In fact, most aren't. The rarest coins are valuable because the right errors occur in combination. Think of it like a perfect storm. One unusual feature might attract attention. Two features create demand. 3 or 4 documented anomalies on the same coin can send collectors into a frenzy. Now here's a question. What if you've been carrying one of these coins around for years without knowing it? Sounds impossible, right? Yet stories like that happen more often than people realize. A coin gets inherited, a collection gets forgotten, a box sits untouched in an attic. Then one day, someone decides to take a closer look, and everything changes. The marketplace for elite numismatic rarities has transformed dramatically over the past decade. Wealthy investors are no longer focusing exclusively on stocks, real estate, or precious metals. Many have entered the rare coin market seeking tangible assets with historical significance and limited supply. Unlike modern products, rare coins cannot be manufactured to meet demand. Their populations are fixed. In many cases, shrinking. Coins are lost, damaged, melted, or locked away in permanent collections. Every year, surviving premium examples become harder to obtain. That scarcity fuels competition, and competition fuels prices. Collectors often refer to this phenomenon as the disappearing supply effect. A rare coin might technically exist, but if owners refuse to sell, it effectively vanishes from the marketplace. That's exactly why ghost coins generate so much excitement. They appear unexpectedly, they attract immediate attention, and they often ignite bidding wars. Let's pause for a moment. If you're watching this while sitting near a drawer full of old coins, don't laugh. History has a strange sense of humor. Many people search for a treasure on television. Others accidentally find it while cleaning the garage. That's the beauty of numismatics. The next headline-making discovery doesn't need to come from an archaeological excavation. It can come from an ordinary household. As demand grows, grading becomes increasingly important. Condition is everything. Two coins with identical rarity can have dramatically different values based solely on preservation. A heavily worn example might be worth hundreds. A sharply preserved example could be worth tens of thousands. An elite specimen with extraordinary appeal can enter an entirely different universe of value. That's where the $781,000 figure enters the conversation. When collectors discuss record-setting potential, they aren't talking about average examples. They're referring to exceptional survivors. Coins that combine rarity, documented authenticity, outstanding condition, and intense market demand. These are the pieces that make headlines. The coins that dominate auction catalogs. The coins investors dream about owning. And here's what makes this situation even more fascinating. The market today is hotter than many people realize. Digital auction platforms have connected buyers worldwide. A collector in New York can compete instantly against bidders in London, Sydney, Dubai, or Hong Kong. The audience is larger, the competition is stronger, and rare opportunities disappear faster than ever. That means timing matters. A coin discovered today may attract dramatically different attention than it would have 20 years ago. Global exposure has changed everything, which brings us to the most important lesson of this entire story. Value begins with awareness. The vast majority of people never examine their coins. They assume pocket change is worthless. Collectors know better. Collectors understand that history hides in plain sight. A small detail, a tiny mint mark, an unusual strike, a subtle doubling effect. Any one of those clues can transform an ordinary-looking coin into an extraordinary asset. And that possibility is exactly why numismatics continues to captivate millions of people around the world. Not because every coin is valuable, but because every coin deserves a second look. Somewhere tonight, a forgotten collection will be opened. A magnifying glass will come out. A date will catch someone's eye. A mint mark will trigger curiosity. And a routine evening may become a life-changing discovery. That's the power of hidden wealth. It's not always buried underground. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight. So before you dismiss that old jar of coins, remember this story. Remember the ghost coin. Remember the rarers. Remember the collectors willing to pay astonishing sums for the right piece. And most importantly, remember that the next incredible find could belong to someone who simply decided to look. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, make sure you're subscribed. Because in our next episode, We're uncovering another ultra-rare coin that most people have seen but almost nobody recognizes. One tiny detail separates an ordinary coin from a potential fortune. And trust me, you won't want to spend that one by mistake.